What's up guys, Steve again from RC Tanks and Trucks 24/7 here with part 2 for this awesome Toy X-Power Sand Cruiser. It's a 1/8 scale kit car with a 4-stroke engine and a gearbox with 3 speeds forwards and reverse, and also does have neutral as well. So we are up to doing the wheels and tyres and pretty much hopefully getting the whole roller done in this episode, mounting the transmission and engine. But if you haven't seen the first one, go check it out. And if you haven't, maybe you want to consider please subscribing. There's heaps of cool stuff just like this. Here we go. Here we're up to this particular part. Now in the previous video we got up to 15, mounting the last part we did was putting actually the front bumper bar on. Now we have 4 wheels and tyres obviously, and these are like those cool padded sand tyres, and they are bead locks. So basically it says there make sure it's the right direction, which it is, just like that. Now I was looking before and had a problem. The hex, that nut was such a tight fit in there that I couldn't, normally they're on the actual axle and you squash it on, but I found out the best way I could do it was, you know, just take it off and push it in with my finger, and that's it. But it does have like a little grub screw that locks it in there, but once it's in there it's not going anywhere because that's in there for good. What I'll do, I'll put these wheels and tyres all together. They're bead locks, they're very easy, not going to bore you with that, but just make sure that when you're seating it on there, this rubber fits in that actual lip there, and you just do like the star pattern so it's all kind of evenly done up, and that's it. So for all those, get up to this step, I guess, which will be step 17, because we won't put those covers on yet, mounting the gearbox. Well, check out that. How cool do they look? Haven't put the decorative caps on. I'll leave them off to the end because, you know, I might want to take them on and off, and I don't want to be taking 6 screws out every single time. These went together really well. Some bead locks have got many more screws on the outers and inner edges there. This one only has 6 on that ring. So they look really cool. I do love that old school dish kind of hot rod look. Move on to the assembly of the gearbox, and that looks pretty sweet. Everything goes together kind of like one whole power unit, it seems. So let's get this part, screw that servo onto the side, and then we'll pull the gearbox out, which is pretty exciting. We have to attach this servo to this plate and then this plate until this whole gearbox mechanism, so it's all one. Now, pretty exciting part now, we are going to be attaching this whole unit into the chassis itself. Now we're just going to be using M3x8 countersunk screws, and it's just going to sit in on this plate. Pretty exciting time. And then attaching the motor. There we go, look at all that. It lines up beautifully, check out this. So this is a separate part, so this whole unit is one part and it lines up with that front motor bracket perfectly. Super steady, super strong in there for sure. It's a massively thick plate at the bottom. Like I said, it's around about 10 millimeters at some points thick. So there we go, all Loctited away. Next up we got this awesome looking exhaust. Look at that, powder coated black from the factory. You're going to make sure you put the gaskets on as well, and they're just going to go in these little spots just there, and you're going to be needing 2 M2.5x6 screws, locking it in away. They really fit well, look at that. Okay, we can't forget this drive shaft, so basically that goes in here. Alright, first step, push it all the way into the motor and all the way into the gearbox, and then just kind of spread the motor out a bit, and look at this. Look at that fit. That is awesome. Beautifully aligned shaft, and these 2 holes line up everything as well, so it's got to make sure these are aligned like that, and that's where we're going to put the other screws. So I'll do that now, and that should be rock solid on this side. But man, that fit and finish is beautiful. Look at that. Well, there we go guys, it's all installed. As you can see, everything spins nicely. One thing I'm questioning, it has a one-way bearing in here. Like, I'm not sure why. Like, one-way bearing in this clutch housing. Not sure, maybe it's just the way that they've just wanted to give it direct drive instead of having like the telescopic style drive shaft. I'm not too sure, but anyway, it does work. It see, there's a one-way bearing, spins in that direction, but obviously the motor's spinning this way, so it's always going to be spinning that way anyway, so it's not like it's going to be going in reverse at any time soon, or the neutral and stuff's all in the gearbox. And they are aluminium clutch shoes in there with like a composite material and then like a brake disc type of material. Next step was put on this little decorative air cleaner. That's just a rubber air cleaner like that. Puts on there and that's it. Now next up, going to be installing the drive shafts. Now these pins are already installed in the drive shaft, so I know there because I was looking for those. And then the front servo, so put these front and rear drive shafts on. Oh, there we go guys, check out that. We do have a roller, as you can see. Everything moves. Like I said before, we've got this one-way bearing, and I asked Toyan and they're saying it's just in case there's like a shock in the system, in case it goes in reverse or something like that. It's I think it's like a safety net type of thing, but all good. So if you flip it upside down, you can see your telescopic drive shafts. That's it. We're all good. My steering servo, I have a 20 kilo steering servo there, and look at that, funnily enough the aluminium housing matches the rest of it. Now one thing I was looking at is this is the it's for your front diff to unlock it and lock. Now that's an option, so I've got it on my kit, but you still need to get a servo for that, so got to double check for a servo that I have, and that's that. I'll figure out that later on, but I'll just put that there for the meantime. But the main thing, the roller's nearly done, so let's get in there. Next up, I'm going to be putting on the body posts. These are nice, all aluminium obviously, and the front are these curved ones. Now this one here with this kind of cool looking attachment goes on the right side, and that's to capture that little kind of breather horn, and obviously the other one goes the other side. So I'll put all those on, and then we'll put the fuel tank on, and that'll be pretty much it for this episode, because the other one after that I'm going to get all the linkages set up. This is a linkage for the throttle, and it's pretty complicated. It's got this kind of spring loaded, like a spring. It's not a hard rod, no, and so it all works obviously, and it's needed because it's all on the one plane, because if it was solid you couldn't put the brake on without a bit of flex in there, because the brake movement is very little. I've probably got like 4 mil there, and pretty much when it's off throttle it's got a little bit of brake anyway, which I kind of like it for a crawler. It's kind of like a drag brake on an electric car, so if you're going down the hill, let off the throttle, it still wants to brake a bit, which is what I want. But yeah, that's that. That was pretty tricky, but that all got sorted. There's all the mounts. There's everything you need to see, but it's all good, all works. So when it's upright like that, pretty much it's kind of half throttle. But yeah, that can all be fine tuned later on. But let me get all that done. Fuel tank, body posts, and that'll be pretty much it for this video. And quickly, here's the fuel tank. Nice setup. It's a very unique looking design, isn't it? It's going to go on the side here, and bear in mind these screws aren't in the plastic containers, they're in this little bag at the bottom of in the bottom section, so just check that out. Well, would you look at that, guys? Everything apart from the electronics is all done. So it's a roller technically. It's got to get the spark plugs in, but that's all got to do with the electronics. The electronics board, the starter motor is mounted down below here. I've just taken that off. It's a separate plate. It's this guy right here, and they kind of sit under, but the brushless wires don't actually, they kind of miss by like 30 mil, so that's all like an inch or so that's a pain, so I've got to figure that out. But fuel tank nicely situated on there. You have this pipe that comes up here, sits in there, breather, and your fuel supply comes in here, feeds through this little hole straight into your carburetor. That's it. Now, silly me, when I was doing these shocks, I put these in here and I had to move them over to where they're supposed to go. This channel locks this in nicely because it's held in by one screw, but it's got a channel on either side that locks it in. Same as with the front as well, so that's it. So you can see this cable. There we go. Make sure, double check all that later on. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're interested in this, guys, links are down below. But next video we'll get all the complicated servo set up for the shifting mechanism, because it is pretty hard. You've got to make sure, not hard, but you've got to fine tune the servos for exactly, points in the middle, and you need like a three position switch, I believe, for this one, and maybe a 2 for this one, because that's just forward and reverse. Obviously throttle, steering, and also I need to figure out the cable actuated front diff lock. But that's it, looking good so far. What do you guys think? Really interested for your comments down below. Let me know. Yes, it's expensive, but as you can see, it's looking pretty good, because after that's all sorted, and we'll obviously do its first startup and test run, and then we work on the body, and that'll be another few videos in itself. But happy days. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have, give it a like button, share, and please subscribe. Cheers, guys.